Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Talk with Ross podcast with me, your host Ross. Today we have a special guest, Sarah. So please introduce yourself to the listeners, Sarah.
Hi guys, I am Sarah Angel. I'm a singer-songwriter, producer, and visual artist from Bolton, now living in London.
Fantastic. So, what got you into the singing career anyway?
Oh, I've always loved music, but when I was like 8, I saw this live musician perform and I fell in love with him. And he was like a 35-year-old man, and I was like 8. But yeah, just music generally has spoken to my soul.
Fair enough, fair enough. So, like, how old were you when you got into the music industry? Was it a very young age, would you say, or?
No, I think I was trying, like to set my friends up in like girl bands and things like that. But professionally, I'd say 20s, maybe a bit earlier than that because I was like photographing musicians and styling them.
Hmm.
And then I saw like the whole process and how I could record as well. But yeah, my first proper song was on a foot asylum I put up, and then I like believed I could actually pursue the career because yeah, that's
Quite interesting that. So, did you do any music lessons, or are you just naturally talented with your voice? Or because obviously, like some singers, you can just, they can just get onto a stage and just belt out a tune, or other people, it takes a lot of time and practice to, train your voice. I mean, I can't sing anyway, so I wouldn't even go to a school to do singing lessons because I just know full well that I can't do it. So I wouldn't even waste my money. I wouldn't even waste my time doing that sort of stuff. So did you have to do like singing lessons before you went into the career?
so doesn't really count as singing lessons. I was like in the choir, like when I was younger at school and in church, and then I just really didn't like it, so I kind of like left that and I had like piano lessons when I was like 14. Did that for about a year and a half. And then yeah, when I was maybe like 21, I did a year and a half again of vocal lessons. Um, a guy called John Leddy who just like believed in me and just wanted to give me the tools to like do vocal warm ups and you know use the right parts of my body. But I think anybody can sing if you put enough time and like practice into it.
Oh no, I wouldn't even wanna do it, to be honest with you, because I'd hurt people's ears. I really would. I think like if it, I don't know. You know the saying like you sound like a strangled cat. That is me. But I'd probably sound like a litter of strangled cats, to be honest with you, if I tried to sing. And plus, I wouldn't
So
want to bring bad weather to anyone because it's
to
boring if I started off in my office trying to sing. But
be
no,
fair, I can't sing at all.
but I believe in what you say. You've got to try, and obviously, if you keep trying and trying and trying, you will get better at it. It's like anything in life, I suppose. Really, isn't it? Like
Absolutely.
my son, he plays on his Switch now and again, and he goes, "Oh, Dad, I'm really rubbish at this game. I'm really rubbish at this." I'm like, "Well, keep trying. The more you try at the game, the better will you be." And I suppose it's the same with singing, but
Yeah, same
I,
with
I,
anything.
to a, it's the same with singing to a certain degree. Like, if people are saying to you, "You've got a good voice," then you know you know that you've got a good voice. If people are saying like, "That's all right," then I personally wouldn't pursue anything. Like if I went up stage singing, and someone turned around to me and went, "Oh, you've got an absolutely fantastic voice," and I kept on getting the same feedback over and over and over again, then I'd probably think, "Oh, okay, I'll go and pursue something. I'll go for like lessons and everything." But I went up singing and like like these open mic nights and everything, and someone was like, it wasn't that good. Then I'm like, okay, thanks for your feedback, and then I'll just leave it as that. So
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely hear what you're saying. I think if you're passionate about something and you want to do it, that it just takes time. Like people say that you need like 10,000 hours put into something before you become an expert.
yeah,
So like someone said that to me quite early on, and I really like took that on board. So then it was like I was waking up and singing, and like my favorite songs I was just like singing along to, and just like my friend gave me this like video on YouTube, like vocal warm ups, and I was just doing this consistently every day. And it's not even just about being a better singer, it's about the confidence in yourself. So like these little things were giving me the confidence to do it in front of people because, anxiety is real.
you
Even if
don't
you
you
are a
don't
good
come
singer.
across as someone with anxiety. You come across as someone very very out there and very bubbly. Very confident. You like I've got you on social media as well, and like I see you like you mod like I don't know if it's modeling shots or something that you do, and I've seen you posing and everything. I'm like, that's some confidence you've got there. Like, there's no way you lack confidence. There's not like, but again, it's you don't know that person. Deep down, like everyone's got their own, their own things that they've got going on, and you might be self-conscious of something, but you don't
Mhm.
portray it when someone's taking a photo of you or anything. You're like you stand there all like, yeah, I own this. You know what I mean? And but I mean, that's how you should be. Do you know what I mean? But then people are misconstrued by things as well because they see you and then they're like, oh well, she's overconfident or something. But it's not always the case,
Yeah,
is it?
not at all. I think like so much goes on internally, like that you don't see. Like everyone has their own mask. And
Yeah.
for me, it's just like, yeah, I don't know. I have my battles with confidence and anxiety, but it's just something that I work on. Even like I practice singing, I practice my confidence, I practice like um, you know, what to do with my anxiety. Like sometimes I think anxiety is a good thing because it's like you care about it being a positive outcome. Um, but just like channel it positively as opposed to like I'm so anxious I can't do this. It's more like I'm so anxious I really care about doing a good job. So it's just been like a switch in my mind. But yeah,
Mm.
I've had major like anxieties, depression in my life, but it's just yeah, it's something you constantly work on and then you just like get better and better and better at like, you know, holding yourself to whatever standard you dream of, you know. One life. So like
Well,
what am I doing with this one life?
so obviously I've heard your music and everything. I just I just want to know what got you into that music genre that you do. I mean, like, what would you call it? I mean, obviously for the people who haven't listened to your music and the guests, not the guests, sorry, the audience who's tuning in now, listening to the podcast, how would you describe your music?
Yeah, so this new album that I've just released, Breaking Point, I'd call it experimental pop soul, and it's just like I went on an adventure with producing my own sound. So like before that, I'd say more like typically soul, more typically R&B, a bit of like hip hop, maybe pop, you could say.
Mm,
Um, but like with this project, it's all of that. and more, just like combined. Like I'm really eclectic. I like lots of different styles and genres of music and like vocal delivery. So it's just me, like, yeah. I I I think like I just there's something in me that is so musical that I can just like sit and create something, and like it can be anything, and like I just love that process. So I just call it experimental because I'm just playing really with things that I love to do.
So with the lyrics in the song, like how have you come about it? I mean, because I love music myself, and
Mm.
when I hear the song, I'm one of these. Like, I break the song down completely because when I want to listen to it in my head, I'm like, you can hear the piano, there's the piano, and I time it in my head. I'm like, right, here comes the piano now, and then here comes the drums, here comes the hi hat, the snares, the bass, and everything else, and the vocals, and then some people they just listen to a song and go, "Oh, that's a banging track. That oh, that's an absolute belt. Yeah, yeah. Oh," because it's been played on the radio and everything, and it becomes a viral song. Everyone else jumps on the bandwagon then, and it's like, why don't you listen to the lyrics carefully, or why don't you get to know the artist on a deeper level? Do you know what I mean? And I think lyrics
I
are
feel
quite
like
powerful as well, aren't they?
absolutely, but I do think you're like your love for music has like made you create this platform in a sense, and like
Yeah,
your average person doesn't love music to that extent, or it just serves a purpose. Like maybe they just listen to music like whilst they're working, or like working out, or like I think there's a difference between like a real music lover and a music critic, which you and I obviously are, to like a person that can just enjoy it. So like I definitely don't judge people for not like reading too much into it, but I do hope that the lyrics, like if the right person hears those lyrics, it helps them, in some way. Like my story is quite bizarre. Like I grew up in a really strict Mormon household. I was going to church like 3 days a week. I got to 15 and I was like, I really don't want to live this life. I really want to find out who I am. And I feel like it's really like boxed in
yeah,
to parameters that I don't feel like I fit into. Um, and also like my adoption, like I've always known I was adopted, and like it always gave me quite weird feelings surrounding like love and being accepted and like being rejected, and like I think these painful emotions for me, like the only way to communicate them was through music. I wasn't that
mm,
great at expressing it emotionally. um And when I was younger, I'd cry all the time. And I think it's just because like I didn't quite know how to articulate what I was feeling to process it and get over it,
yeah,
like kind of a feeling in a sense. So yeah, this album is just like that journey. It's like bits from my whole life, to be honest. Um, and like it's called Breaking Point because it's like that point of realization, or like also reaching like a point where I just can't take how I'm doing things, like living my life anymore, and I really need a switch, change. Um, and yeah, it's just the lyrics for me, if you don't really understand them, are just about turning pain into power,
yeah.
in
And
short.
that's what it's about as well. Like, when it comes to writing music, because you hear a lot of music nowadays, and you know, it's like when you get a male singer, it's all about, oh yeah, look at all the girls I've got, and look at the money, and look at my house, and it's you know, they mention females a lot, or it's the M word, or it's like, yeah, I'm gonna come up to your house in my whip, and and they talk about violence. It's like, why? like you've not lived. If you've not lived a lifestyle like that, don't talk like that. Do you know what I mean? Because you're portraying a false image of yourself, and then people are going to look at you and think like, is he actually living this lifestyle? Like, if you're from, I don't know, like the rough ends of Manchester, like I don't know. I'm just trying to think now. I'd say like a bit like Salford is a bit rough round there. Do you know what I mean? I mean, everywhere's got rough parts. But
Right.
if you grew up round there and you've been involved in that life of crime and everything, you've seen certain things and you rap about it. Fine, fair enough. But don't
Yeah.
become like an artist and then fake it all, because there's no point. Just speak about real life situations, like talk about your life, and like obviously what you've done on this album. I've not had a chance to listen to it just yet, but when I do listen to it and everything, I'll give you my honest feedback about it, and I'll listen to the lyrics carefully because that's what I like to do. And it's like when I talk to people as well, and they go, "Oh, who do you like as an artist and everything?" And then I get called the typical chav because obviously how I dress in tracksuits and everything, and obviously like you can see them all in black, cap on and everything, body warmer, this and that. And I say to people, I like Bugsy Malone. Oh, you're a typical chav. I'm not a typical chav, but I like him because of what he's been through in life. It hit rock bottom. He's been to prison. He's been through the shittest of times in life, and he's turned his life around. Yeah, he might have been involved in drugs and gangs and everything, but you know, it doesn't mean that he's a full on bad person.
And
Everyone
also,
everyone's
talking
gone
about books. Sorry, go
everyone,
ahead.
everyone's done bad in their life, but it doesn't make them a bad person. Full stop. You know what I mean? You could do one little tiny thing, and people can go, "Oh, Sarah's a bad person."
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? So go on. What are you gonna say then, Sarah?
I was just gonna say about Bugsy Malone because, like, he might have lived that life.
Yeah,
Like my life is nothing like that, but because he's been true and authentic to his story, he can still speak to somebody like me. So there's a song actually that I was listening to when I was really low, and I can't remember the exact lyrics. It's really annoying, um, but it is talking about him like hitting rock bottom, but him like he is his pain essentially like made him who he is today. And like in my bad times, that really spoke to me, not having anything to do with that lifestyle. So it just says a lot, basically. Like stay authentic, and
yeah.
like anyone will be able to relate to you.
Well, that's it. Yeah, it's like obviously be authentic, and I think it all falls down to the mood as well that you're in, because like there's so many genres of music as well out there, and there's so much for you to listen to, and it's like depending on how you feel in that moment of time, it depends on what you're going to listen to. Like
Yeah,
if you're dead happy and you're upbeat and everything, you're not going to go put a sad song on, are you? Do you know what I mean? Because it's just going to bring you back down. But
right.
if you're in a sad situation, I suppose you might listen to a sad song, but
Mhm.
you might want to listen to a happy song just to balance it out a little bit. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think like your mood, even even when it comes to writing a song, depending on like the mood that you're in, will portray the music that you're going to put out. Because again, if you're feeling down, then you're gonna probably do a sad song, or if you're feeling up, you probably do something upbeat and happy, and that sort of stuff. But
Absolutely.
I mean, when it comes to like doing an album and stuff, because obviously it's from about, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like 4 or 5 songs minimum in it for an album, or is it more than that?
I think an album is 7 and an EP is 3 or 4.
Yeah. So like when it comes to like doing an EP or an album, like obviously because there's multiple songs, so how do you go about doing it? Do you do it all in one session, or do you just keep going back and forth and back and forth? Like, how did you, like, what was the time period for this album that you've just done?
This album has been built over 3 years,
Wow.
and I know, right? And I don't think like it will always take that long with a project.
Mm.
But this specific project, I was going through life as well and still like processing things. So it just took the time that it did. And yeah, I was going like back and forth with songs. Some songs just got dropped from the project, even up until the last minute. Um, but yeah, it took 3 years, not like just like focused on this project. I was like collaborating with other people as well. But yeah.
So with you, like, being independent as well, would you
Hmm.
ever would you ever sign like a record deal or anything? So say, like, for example, if I'm like one of these, I don't know all the terminology of everything, but if I turn around to you and said, like, oh look, I can offer you a deal, I'll get you signed and everything, I can make you famous basically. Would you rather be famous, or would you rather just be independent and you can just talk about your stuff freely? Because I feel like when you're signed as well, you can't say as much or do as much as when you're an independent artist. I mean, like, there's an independent artist who I really like as well. You've probably heard of him as well. Do you know Ren?
When? No.
Ren. After this interview, yeah,
Oh,
please YouTube him. You'll absolutely love him. And he's one of these.
okay.
He suffers with mental health as well. And he's done a song called Hi Ren, and it's himself talking to himself. But he's
Oh,
playing with an acoustic guitar, and he's talking to himself, and he goes, "Hi, Ren," and then he's like, it's himself, but he plays two different characters as himself. So he's sat
I
there
love
in
that.
one of them hospital gowns and everything. I'm like, how he's done that is just absolutely amazing. But I feel like if you was, signed by a record label, you couldn't bring out music like this. So what would you do in that
Yeah.
sort of situation?
So up until now, I've been absolutely adamant that I want to stay independent. Um, and like I've loved that journey of doing my own thing. But like recently, when I've been like putting together music videos and like gathering like large teams of people, um, doing all my like marketing and like my editing, like just doing all the little bits, wearing all the different hats that you have to as an independent. I would definitely sign a deal now for money to be able to create my own projects, but I wouldn't want to be signed off for like the next like 5, 10 years to a label. Um, like I would sign a project rather than or a song rather than myself to a record label for years and years and years. I would just want like the money to be able to get these teams together and pay people like correctly. But yeah. It's just tough. As an independent, you have to realize that you are going to be doing a lot of work, and if you don't love music, I can't see like many people lasting doing it. But like out of the love, that's like push the drive, and even when like I'm feeling overwhelmed with all the responsibility that I've put on myself, essentially, um, I've just kept going, but like I would really like a good chunk of money to make like an incredible, visual, and then maybe not be signed, but still have my name out there and a good enough
Mm.
face to be working with like the best in the industry.
I suppose it has its ups and downs really, because like if you're independent, like what you just said then, you've got to do everything yourself. You've got to be the person, like what you said with the multiple caps. You know, you've got to be the singer, you've got to be the actor, then you've got to do all the editing, directing, and you know, your own fashion stylist and everything, your own makeup artist, and it's just I can understand where you're coming from because it'll be so hard, and then you know you get them days where you like lose motivation and you're like you're lacking it a little bit, and it's just like can't be asked today. But
Mhm.
you know, if you had someone there, then I suppose it'd be all right because you know they would probably give you a little bit of a kick up the backside, like come on, you need to do this, you know. Not too harsh where you're like, oh, F you sort of thing, I'm not going to do it and walk off and then you lose your contract or you lose your deal. But it's like what you said, then it probably would be nice because like, you know, you won't feel as stressed, you've got a bit of money behind you, you know, you're getting your name out there. But
Right.
I feel like I said, I'm a strong believer that obviously if you get signed, I don't know how it works, but you know, if you get signed, then there's certain things that you can't do from when you was independent, and it's like, well, then you lose, then you lose your independence from being an independent artist. You know what I mean? And it's just like, well, it's a catch 22 then, isn't it? You know, do you want to have the fame, the money, you know, less responsibilities, or do you want to have the power to be independent and be like, well, I can sing what I want, I can say what I want to a degree, obviously, without being you know, a racist or a narcissist or anything else. But you know, and then obviously it's the headache and the ball ache of doing everything else yourself, then, isn't it? So I suppose it's a person, really, isn't it?
But even as an independent, though, like on certain like platforms, like on Instagram and TikTok, they'll still shadow ban you if you're saying things that are too outspoken. Like
Mm,
we we do have a voice, we all do, but it's to a certain extent, and that's like
mm,
only really in like Western countries. Like certain things will never be promoted to like other places because of these things as well. Like I think like we all have freedom of speech to a certain degree. Um, but yeah, I do get what you mean in terms of the record label. You see all these like people that were independent and now they have like this commercial image where it's just like even the music seems really just like not risky, just like easy radio music. Um, but I just think it's a lot of work and the record label, like I'm not justifying the percentages that they take from musicians, but it is a lot of work. Like the other hats, like that the admin that I have to do. Sometimes it feels like I'm spending 80% of my time doing admin and it's like nothing creative.
yeah,
So I think like if you're with a record label, sometimes you're allowed the time to just be a musician, just be a creative, not have to organize the numbers, the contracts, you know. Yeah. I think it's like it's one of those.
yeah. It's an up and down scale, I suppose, isn't it? You know, it's like one of them weight things, and you take a little bit off, and it's just like it goes up and down a bit, and then it's just like, oh well,
Uh,
take that from there, put that in there, you know. It's just trying to counterbalance everything, I suppose, isn't it? Because like you see the big artists now, and I like to use H as a reference, you know, because he's a Manchester lad. So I obviously I've seen him like when he was younger freestyling, and his freestyles are really good, and then all of a sudden he's just blown up,
hmm,
and you know you just see him just doing on social media. He's just doing funny videos, like he does videos with a lad called Taylor, and then he's got his mate, that angry ginger lad who plays FIFA with him, and they're both like getting each other riled up and everything. But it's just lads being lads, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And it's like, well, the people look at him and go, well, obviously he's been signed, so I can live a lifestyle like that where it's more chilled out and relaxed, and he just goes studio when he feels like it, or goes, I want to go record a song now. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just gonna go studio, record a song, and then just go release it. Like, I mean, personally, I don't know how it all works. I mean, I'll never know anyway because I'm just sat doing this, interviewing people. But I think to a degree, if you are signed, you know, it's a more easier life than being in the independent life. Do you know what I mean? Because you can do what you want to do. It's like what you just said then. Like, obviously, you're a musician. Your passion is music, but you sat there posting on Instagram. Then you've got to go to TikTok and post on TikTok, and then you've got to, like, you know, you've got to go back onto social media, and as soon as someone puts a comment, and you've got to reply to it straight away, because in that way you don't want to lose your fans then, I suppose, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's that. It's like your PRS, PPL. It's like logging like the percentages of songs you own. It's like when a gig comes through, making sure you get paid, making sure your team gets paid. When you're planning a music video, it's organizing the call sheet. It's like what time is everybody getting there? What's everybody's job role? What are they actually doing on the day? Like there's so many different sides to it. It's like managing yourself as well. Like you're just a human with emotions, and like you said, some days you're just like you're not up to the job, but you have to be up to the job because if you don't do it, it's not going to get done. Um, yeah, it's your website. Like it's like if you get a great video, who's going to post it? Like you need to find the right platform. It's like making new connections, for all of the above, where I think the record label would actively act as the person doing all of these jobs. So you would just be sat on the piano or sat in your book, sat on your laptop. Yeah, but it's like a lot of responsibility, but I do it because I love that process where I do get to sit and make the song, and then I get to release that song, and then that song speaks to somebody and, potentially changes their life and their outlook of themselves and how they navigate the world. And it's also like, it's been quite selfish. It's like, I write down my emotions and then I feel better. I go out into the world as a better person, I feel, because I'm not like really angry or sad about some bad situation. Um, and when I am happy, I can write that down into a song and like prolong my own happiness and give a bit of that happiness to somebody else as well when they
Yeah.
are in a shitty place. Sorry, can we swear? But when
No,
they
no,
are in a bad,
you can swear, it's fine.
okay. So it's all worth it as an independent, but geez, it's a lot of work.
Yeah. See, this is another thing as well, because like when you are signed, do you think it's actually your music? Because obviously, like when you're signed, again, I wouldn't know this because I don't know from first hand experience, but I feel like they would tell you, like, oh well, put that in the song, put this in, don't have that in your song. Do you know what I mean? And
Uh,
then I feel like it's not your song because you've had things stripped away from you, or they're saying, well, instead of that, put this in, you know, or no, we don't like it, so take it again. But instead of saying that, we want you to go da 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 da, this and this and this. Add that in instead of take, and have that as a chorus instead, you know. And then it's like, well, it's not your song then, is it? And then you're like, oh well, this is my song, guys, here it is. And it's like, well, not really.
it's so true, but I mean, like, Rihanna has basically not written any of her songs, but people still consider her an amazing musician.
Yeah,
Like a
because
lot of
that's the reality of it. If you've got a good voice, you know, it's the image that you portray as well to people. You know, if you can portray this image, you know, oh look at me and this and that, and it just, you know, I like sometimes it does wind me up a little bit because it's like, well, you've not wrote the song yourself. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic song, but you've not actually wrote it. You've got a ghostwriter. who gets paid
Yeah.
for this song, and you just sing it. You know, it's
Right.
you're basically you're an actor.
Right. You're a performer
That's
more
the way
than
I look at it, because you know you've got a script, read it, there you go, job done. You get paid, they get paid, and that's that.
yeah. It's so true. And I completely agree with you, but even like as an independent you can be in the studio with maybe producer and the producer will be like, yeah, I'm not really keen on that. Whereas if you'd produced your own song, you'd run with that thing. So that's another reason why I've produced this album myself,
Yeah,
because I just wanted it to be like really authentically me, and like you can judge afterwards whether you like it or not. But I want that sound out in the world as it is. But like, yeah, I've done both. Like I've been in the studio with producers and like they've maybe changed something, and it's like I wouldn't necessarily have gone for that, but I've agreed to it because it's both of our songs.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, that's just why I produce myself as well, so I get the opportunity to just have my vision.
Well, that's it, and I suppose that's the best way to be as well, because like you've released that album, and then you can proudly say like that's my song, that's my music. You know, you can own it yourself basically, and you know when people give you feedback, whether
Mm.
it's negative or not, you know, like I wouldn't be one of these people who go away and listen to the album and go, you know, Sarah, shit, didn't like it. I'd stop you and go, do you know what, Sarah? I can hear the passion in the music and everything. Track 5, absolutely loved it. Track 2 weren't really my cup of tea, but everyone's got their
Yeah,
own opinion. Do you know what I mean? We're all
yeah,
not going to be here on this on Earth and be like, right, we all like the same thing. We all like the same women. We all like the same men, obviously. But with them, do you know what I mean? We all like the same car. We all like Nike. We all like the color green. It'd be boring. Life would be boring
exactly.
if we all like the same thing, because everyone would want the same thing. You know what I mean?
Right,
And
absolutely. And to
if
be honest,
well,
I was just gonna say, I'm like in a place where I've reached within myself, like that level of like, a surety and confidence within myself that like if you said it was shit, I'd take it on board and ask you why you thought it was shit, like what you would like change about it. And like that would be interesting to me rather than like I take that as like I'm shit. Like, do you know what I mean?
yeah, there's like feedback.
Yeah,
Obviously, there's constructive feedback, and then there's feedback where people are just dead negative about it. Like
right.
if people turn around to you, obviously you're a musician, and you go on Facebook now and message 10 people your album and go, can you please listen to it and give me honest feedback? Thank you very much. And then they go away, listen to it, and then everyone gets back to you and go, right, okay. So person number 1 goes, yeah, absolutely love it. You know, person number 2, well, track number 1, track number 5, I loved it. And then from 6 to whatever, it wasn't really my cup of tea. And then someone else can say like, oh well, they didn't like track 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and then they like track 1 to 5. You know what I mean? And then obviously you've got mixed opinions then, and you can look at all everyone's feedback and go, okay, well, for next time I can tweak it a little bit, because then for certain people. But then again, it's like one of them. It's like, well, you've took the feedback on board, but ultimately you shouldn't have to change you as a person, because if someone doesn't like it, then someone doesn't like it. You know, it's
Yeah,
again, it's another catch-22 situation. You know what I mean? Like how you dress compared to I dress. You know, we've all
right.
got different styles. You might not like how I dress, and I might not like how you dress. But you know,
How
it's
dare you?
it's down to you as a person. You know what I mean? Like, because You don't care, and I don't care. You know what I mean? I've got a pink tracksuit in my drawer. I'd happily walk
Yeah,
around in a tracksuit, and
I
people
love
come around
that.
and go, "Are you gay?" I'm like, just because I
Oh
got
my
pink,
gosh.
it doesn't make you
Wow.
gay. It doesn't make you feminine. You know what I mean?
No. In fact, I think it makes you more masculine because you're like so confident in your masculinity, and you're like,
Well,
I like that suit, and I'm gonna wear it. And if you
exactly.
can pull it off, then you can pull it off.
And that's the thing. It's the same with music though, and I think it's the same with anything else in life. You know, just be yourself, because I think people will love you more and love your music more if you're just true to yourself and you're not one of these people who put on a fake persona, like what we were just discussing before. Like if you've lived like the life of crime and everything, and you talk about it through your music, fine. If you've been in that situation and if you've been in that lifestyle, then fine, fair enough. But don't sit there like, oh yeah, like I'm a bad man. It's just no, because you'll get called out for it.
Absolutely. And like, I think it's really easy. It would have been really easy for me as like a black woman to maybe lean into the stereotype of like twerking in videos and just like being like, like all of that. But like, that's not really like authentic to my vibe. Like, you won't catch me doing that. So like no disrespect to black females that want that to be their image, but like I'd rather just create music that speaks about my life, my story, and inspire the people to relate to it, rather than try and fit into a bracket that actually isn't like it doesn't make me feel good about myself. It
Yeah.
makes me feel more self-conscious than like proud.
Mm. And we was all looking forward to the twerking video on your next album. I think we're all gutted now.
Yeah.
But no, obviously I don't want to take too much time out of your day and everything. So is there anything you'd like to promote whilst you're on the podcast now? You know, is there any channels, anything at all that you want to promote? I will get your links
No.
off you afterwards, so I can put it
Okay.
in the video. So you can say it now as well, and then the links will be there on the video.
Yeah, so please guys follow me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, all of that. My artist and real name is Sarah Angel, and you can find me on socials, sarahangel.co.uk. And yeah, that is on my website as well.
Thanks for that, Sarah. And I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who has just tuned in for this episode. I do hope that you have taken away some insightful information. Also, as well, please go to Sarah's social media and, you know, support her as well. She's an independent artist and she does some absolutely fantastic music. And I will be listening to her album shortly as well. And what I will do as well is I'll put the album onto my Facebook page as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's it from me. See you on the next one.
Thank you.